Hello and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And our selfish giant is, well, he's somewhere around here. Because today we will be reading the second part of our Stories and Fables unit, and it's all about this giant. And yeah, he's selfish.
And this giant is a little different from other giants that you read about in other stories. Yes, he is big, really big. I mean, he is a giant. But this giant is not trying to catch Jack, and there's no beanstalk. It's not that story.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But this giant is quite scary, like the giant from the Jack and the Beanstalk story. And also like that giant, our giant isn't a big fan of children.
Nope.
I think that's also safe to say. What makes the giant from our story quite special is that, as I mentioned, he's selfish. He's a selfish giant and he doesn't want to share.
And that's
share.
a big problem, actually. So, you see, along with being selfish, this giant also has a beautiful garden next to his castle. And the local kids, the same kids that the giant really doesn't like, well, they love to play in the giant's beautiful garden.
That's right. It's their favorite place to play after school. So in yesterday's story, when the selfish giant came home from a trip and found the kids running around and making noise and having fun, the giant was not happy. He scared the children away, and then he built a big wall all around the garden to keep the children and everyone else out of his garden. Get out!
And that's why our story is titled The Selfish Giant. Let's start reading today's part of the story, and we'll do that right after we learn about the vocabulary. 第二天的单字继续带大家看 The Selfish Giant 的故事，他是否看到他的行为造成的后果呢？我们先来看几个单字。第一个 confuse 使困惑，是个动词。The questions confused Tom.The questions confused Tom. 这些问题令 Tom 感到疑惑。第二个单字 sweet 甜美的是个形容词。Wendy was a sweet girl with a beautiful smile. Wendy was a sweet girl with a beautiful smile. Wendy 是个甜美的女孩，有着美丽的笑容。第三个单字 reason 理由原因是个名词，因为某种原因，我们可以说 for some reason 这个片语可以放在句子的前面或是后面。For some reason, Maggie was upset. For some reason, Maggie was upset. 或是 Maggie was upset for some reason. Maggie was upset for some reason. 因为某种原因 ，Maggie 感到不开心。最后一个单字 climb 爬攀登是个动词。Be careful of falling rocks when you climb the mountain. Be careful of falling rocks when you climb the mountain. 爬山时要小心落石。好咯，现在看完单字例句，一起回到课文中。
The seasons changed, and spring came to the village. However, it stayed away from the giant's garden. No flowers bloomed, and the peach trees didn't blossom. That confused the giant. Explanation 1.
Okay, so the selfish giant has his wall, and the kids aren't bothering him anymore. I guess things are good for the giant, even if the local kids are sad because they have nowhere to play. But as we begin the story, we see that some time has passed. So let's start reading to find out what is going on today.
So today's article begins, the seasons changed and spring came to the village. So the leaves are starting to come out, birds are starting to sing, and all the flowers are starting to bloom. It must look lovely in the garden.
Well, you would think that, wouldn't you? But it seems that spring has come everywhere in the land except for in one special place. Next it says, however, It stayed away from the giant's garden. That's, of course, spring. Spring stayed away from the giant's garden. Very interesting. So no flowers were growing or trees were budding in his garden. Everywhere else, it's spring as usual. But in the garden, it's still as bare and dead and lifeless as it was all winter long. What's going on here?
Well, we don't know yet, but yes, the giant's garden was still waiting for spring to arrive. It's very weird. OK, 先来看几个单字要表达植物发芽，我们可以用 bud 这个动词，而 bare 形容词是空的意思 ，lifeless 也是一个形容词，则是没有生机的意思。只有巨人的花园还在等待春天的来临。Okay, as we read on, we read more about how things look in the garden. It says no flowers bloomed and the peach trees didn't blossom.
And since it is actually springtime, this is very unusual.
Yeah.
As we reach our break, it says that confused the giant. For sure, the calendar says it's spring. But in the garden, it still looks like it's the middle of winter. What's going on? All right, so time for our break now. But before we do that, let's learn more from Daphne about our first grammar point of the day.
大家好，我是 Daphne。今天的第一则文法是比较 bloom 和 blossom 的异同。首先 bloom 和 blossom 当不及物动词都有开花的意思，但是bloom 常常是指观赏植物开花，例如百合、玫瑰。例如 rhododendrons bloom in March， 杜鹃花3月开花。blossom 则是结果植物开花，如桃花、樱花。例如 mango trees blossom in winter， 芒果树冬天开花。
Okay, it's time for a break, and then we'll be back.
One morning, he heard a sweet sound. A bird was singing outside his window. When he went to look, he saw an even more wonderful sight. It was spring in his garden. Then the giant saw the reason. The village children were climbing the trees and playing happily in the trees. He could tell the garden was glad to have them back.
Explanation 2.
All right, our selfish giant had a beautiful garden, but even though it was spring, the garden is dead, gray, and lifeless. Something very strange is happening.
Yeah, the giant must be so confused about what's going on. And it seems to have lasted for a while. As we get back to the story, some time has passed. The next sentence in the article says, one morning he heard a sweet sound. I wonder what or who that could be.
Yeah, a sweet sound, a pretty sound, a lovely sound. Ooh. There was like some kind of nice music or something outside. Let's find out. The next sentence tells us, and we read, a bird was singing outside his window. Wow. Aha! So this shows there is some life in his garden. Finally! Does this mean that spring will arrive soon?
Ooh, let's keep reading. It says, when he went to look, he saw an even more wonderful sight.
Ooh, what did he see? No prizes for guessing, but the next sentence tells us it was spring in his garden.
Wow!
Spring is finally here. But why? Why did spring arrive so much later in the giant's garden than it did everywhere else in the land?
Yeah, that's the mystery. But here's the good news. We get an answer to this mystery in the final part of today's article. It says, then the giant saw the reason.
And what was it? The village children were climbing the trees and playing happily in the trees. So it was the children who brought the spring and life back to the giant's garden. The same children that the selfish giant had chased away and scared the year before. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Has the giant learned his lesson from this?
Well, we're not sure yet, but the final sentence of today's story says he could tell the garden was glad to have them back. So at least the garden is happy, even if the giant maybe isn't that happy yet.
That's true. And the kids would be happy too now. So we're all happy here because Daphne is here also to teach us everything we need to know about our final grammar point of the day.
第二则文法要比较 in the tree 和 on the tree 的异同。首先 in the tree 和 on the tree 都是地方副词，中文翻译都是在树上，但是 in the tree 的主词是在树枝之间，并非树的一部分。例如 A Taiwan magpie is in the tree 树上有一只台湾蓝雀。On the tree 则用于主词是树的一部分，例如 Apples grow on the tree 苹果长在树上。
Okay, folks, well, that's all the time that we have today, but please come back to join us for the third and final part of our Stories and Fables unit tomorrow, when we'll find out if the selfish giant has really had a change of heart about letting those kids enjoy his beautiful garden. It should be interesting. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
The Selfish Giant. The seasons changed, and spring came to the village. However, it stayed away from the giant's garden. No flowers bloomed, and the peach trees didn't blossom. That confused the giant. One morning, he heard a sweet sound. A bird was singing outside his window. When he went to look, he saw an even more wonderful sight. It was spring in his garden. Then the giant saw the reason. The village children were climbing the trees and playing happily in the trees. He could tell the garden was glad to have them back.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
欢迎来到 in Action. 我是 Holly.
你好奇怪。
那你为什么要跟我奇怪？
I'm Shane. Okay, so today's topic is 某人对你有意思。
有人喜欢我吗
Yeah. Probably not.
Whatever.
Well, let's see. Let's check out the dialogue and see how we say this in English.
All right.
Tyler added me on Instagram.
Wow, it looks like somebody's into you.
Do you really think he's into me? He's so cute, isn't he?
He's too cute for you.
What? So, okay, somebody is into you.
Into
为什么是 into?
因为 into 其实就是进入嘛，那你很喜欢一个人的时候，你就会整个进入那一个状态里面，就是 Oh my God， 我好喜欢他，我想要跟他在一起。
一直在想着他，you're so into that. So you can be into other things too.
Yeah.
I'm really into watching movies. I'm really into eating stinky tofu.
Yeah, but I'm not into you.
What? Okay. Or you could say, this one's funny, somebody has a crush on you. Crush.
Yeah， 为什么要 crush？
I don't know.
Crush 其实本身的意思是把它用碎，捏碎、踩碎、打爆，没有。
Yeah. So 这个 crush 就是喜欢，有点小小喜欢你。
他没有到爱那么的浓烈，可是他就是很喜欢这样子。对 ，So I have a crush on you， 就是我喜欢你。
That's right. Okay, all right. So if you don't know how to say something in English,
靠我们
就对了。Somebody is into you.
Somebody is into you.
Somebody has a crush on you.
Somebody has a crush on you.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 又到我们1分钟的单元喽。那我们今天要1分钟的时间来复习4个单字，还会造句练习。同学们，您都准备好没？1分钟计时开始。第二单字呢，它是动词，表示使什么困惑。这字叫什么 ？Confused。His words confused me。他说的话让我好困惑，我听不懂。好，第二单字呢，它可以形容甜的，或者是甜美的、悦耳的。这字叫什么 ？Sweet。Her sweet singing voice drew everyone's attention. 她甜美的歌声吸引了大家的注意。Sweet singing voice， 甜甜的歌声。好，第3个单字呢，它是指理由或是原因，这字叫做 reason。Do you know the reason why she left early？ 你知道她提早离开的原因是什么吗？第4个单字呢，叫做爬，攀登上爬山那个爬就可以用这个字来表达，叫做 climb。注意 b 不发音哦，叫做 climb， 不是 climb， 没有 b。The puppy was trying to climb up the stairs. 那只小狗狗试着要爬上楼梯，但是腿太短，看起来好可爱哦。好，不管怎么样，我们在1分钟之内已经复习完4个单字，完成任务喽。同学们表现很棒，那我们下次见，拜拜。